know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it in back bay. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things, don't even have a deal, yeah, I battle through these.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Gianlutis, and guys, we have an incredible special guest here to you today from Long Island, New York. Guys, how this connection came about to me, I can't even tell you. I'm going to point up because something was there for this connection. Because, guys, I give you Colton Fusaro today. Guys, Colton and I had a great conversation about a month ago at this point, and it just kept building and building and building to the point where I knew that I had to get Colton on here. And before we dive into his story and his backstory and everything we're going to talk to you about today, I'm going to tell you straight up, he is the guy that you can connect to because he is your everyday guy who is pursuing something bigger than himself and is being guided by something bigger than himself. And he truly has been from rock bottom to where he is now in such an incredible way, and there is no end in sight for him. I had to get him on once a week to give you this message so you can take it and run with it for yourself. So Colton, I thank you so much for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, perfect.
I was motivated just to have another conversation like the one that we had.
Yeah, right? No,
That's
I think it's
kind of what I live for.
Exactly. No, it left me reeling where it's like we have to keep building on this because something is there and people can get something inspiring and motivating from just what we talked about before. And to build into this one, so people get a backstory, before we dive into our topic, let's hear a little bit about your story because your story is very inspiring in itself. So if you mind, let's step into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I just hope before we even get started, I hope I could live up to the expectations because that conversation that we had was incredible. We should have pressed record. Like moving forward, no matter what, if we're hanging out, nothing, just record because you never know.
Right, exactly.
So background. I like how you introduced me. I appreciate that because I'm like right in the middle, right, of life. I'm not in the middle of my life, but in the accomplishment phase, right? So it's like, the way I grew up was the first part was very much so poverty focused, right? And being on the mean streets of Long Island in the suburbs, you wouldn't think that crazy stuff would happen, but it does. It could happen anywhere. And a lot of it, I think, is your mindset that you attract to yourself. And the more that your thoughts keep going, and it's really generational. So it's like I was raised, and you kind of think about it. My mom's been disabled since 2001. My dad found out, I'm having a kid. Great. I'm going to go anywhere else. Disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's crazy hearing like 50 years old, like hundreds of arrests. Like that's kind of like the predecessor, right? The pre.
Yeah.
My mom's a saint. She's got a heart of an angel. Like she taught me how to love, how to believe in myself. Always thought you can do anything you put your mind to, no matter what it was. She just was like the rock in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So growing up like this, it's hard when the finances aren't in place.
Okay.
So what I saw and realized later was, moving around, over 20 times. It's kind of hard. Stayed in the same school district, most of them, but then you're in like trying to hide so you don't have to change schools. So you're in a different town and you should change schools, but you don't. So no friends come over, you don't hang out. And it took a toll on me. It really did. So I started realizing like being very extroverted with no way to express it. Got a lot into video games, then into sports. Sports had friends. And things started going good when I really latched on to something positive.
Yeah.
Right. And it was cool because high school, this was a major point for me. I wind up getting kicked off the football team because I had a little bit of like anger and outlash, and I wanted to play a position they didn't let me play.
Uh-huh.
I had played that before. I could not make sense of it.
Yeah.
And it's funny how when we can't get what we want, we kind of react in ways that we don't even know that we can react in, right? So that stuff was in here. I see it as generational. I see it as stuff that, like, if you're going to be a generation changer, if you're going to stand, firm and change the generations past you in your family lineage, like, you need to stand firm and change. That's how you stand firm, is you don't accept that behavior and you move on and a new behavior. So for me, this is the phase of experiencing all this stuff, learning that I can act this way. And I wound up going into wrestling. I in 3 short years, on season and off season, I just worked my tail off, and I went to county, states. I went to some nationals qualifiers for all those wrestling junkies. Freestyle was where I excelled. The off season wrestling. That's where I went to most of those tournaments. But then after high school ended, what happened? My friends from sports went to college. Right? So we have these phases in life where things change, and we don't have friendships that are rooted in value-based friendships that keep people together. People go different things, and you start hanging out with new groups of people. People I played sports with, we were only friends when we played sports. People I went to the gym with, only at the gym. Everybody went to college. So I stayed here. I had a few friends, and then I had a few more friends, and we were the guys that did drugs.
Yeah.
Sold drugs, did drugs, fought everybody, been jumped multiple times, guns held to my head. Like, it got so crazy.
Yeah.
One time my mom was driving by, and sometimes people in our life that we love can be byproducts of the things that we're doing. And we don't plan it. Around the block, and my friend had at the time just said something to this guy walking past. And they didn't speak any English. They just left. And I was like wondering why he did that. My mom comes by saying hi. These guys come back with 6 people and knives. And it's like, my mom almost got stabbed.
Wow.
I remember like the adrenaline coursing through my body. Like, I will die before that happens. But it's like, that stuff could happen anywhere. There's gang related stuff everywhere. So that kept happening. I kept doing the drugs. I wound up overdosing like 3 or 4 times. And I just remember feeling myself go unconscious.
Yeah.
No control, like try to roll to my side, like barely body movement. And just so I don't like die in my sleep. Like, God, if you can save me, please. I don't even know God at the time. I'm like, just please. And that was tough. That took a real toll on me, because I remember the feeling when I didn't have. Well, first, where did they come from? Doctors.
Okay.
I was 18. I had a back injury, and they just wrote a script and said, "Here you go." I had an addictive mentality. I had to realize.
Yeah.
So I started realizing all these attributes about me, all these things that were kind of just like, they were negative character traits.
Yeah.
That I had to work on. And I remember the one time I woke up, I said, I was just falling asleep, couldn't move. I said, God, if I make it till tomorrow, I promise I will give everything I've got in my entire life to my brothers. And I just said, I'm like, man, if I'm going to kill myself on accident doing this, living for me, why don't I try to, selflessly live for, my brothers who grew up in the same way? Why can't I make it easier for them? And it went out on a mission, right? And I found sports again, became an MMA fighter, had a bunch of injuries. And this is where the story wraps up quick. So hold in there. Couple injuries. I wound up major knee surgery, dislocated knee and hip, multiple ligaments. And then when everything was put back together, I make a full recovery. My physical therapist was a physical therapist in the Olympics in the 90s, real and hardcore. And he trained me like Rocky. I was like, this is great. I wound up completing my PT, and I hung my gloves up for good.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it coming, but I said, man, I just wanted to be a pro fighter to make money for my family.
Yep.
What I found is one thing my coach said to me, wrong, so true, was you don't have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need this. He's like, look at the guys in here. They need this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. And it really rung to me that I had something up here
Yep.
that was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent my whole recovery. How do I get into real estate? How do I start a business? How do I, make some side hustle? How can I do something? What can I do? What can I go to school for? What state test can I take? And I started exhausting myself. I transferred that athlete mentality to how do I make money
Mm-hmm.
like how everybody else does kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And failed a few businesses that I started. I was a full-time student, had a 4.0, and I was working, a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs, just security and stuff like that. I'd sleep at my desk, like you figure it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that led me to all the good stuff. That was just like origin. That
Yep.
was before self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started networking. Networking is powerful. You need to be building your network actively. It's not even just who you know, it's the relationships with the people that you know.
Yeah.
About developing some long-term friendships and really connecting with people who have the same values as you.
Yep.
I met one person that was thinking outside of the box like I was, that like I actually believed like there was something else outside of a job that wasn't just preaching, oh, you got to go finish your classes, go finish your classes. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
For me, I just was like, man, how can I make money now to live?
Yeah.
I wound up talking to him, meeting some incredible people that had retired early in life in their like late 20s, actually built wealth, built multiple companies, like organizations of thousands of people. And I started having the ability to learn from people that had actually created results.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important thing, is we need to learn from people that are actually doing something, that actually have the results.
Mm-hmm.
It started changing me when I started reading.
Mm-hmm.
I read like nonstop all the time. I read books on relationships, mindset, positivity, success, business. I'm in my Bible every day, the most out of all of that, because that's where all wisdom actually comes from. So,
Yeah.
they're all written from that in some origin.
Exactly.
And that's what started changing my life.
Yep.
Then I went on the journey of building my career, jumping into sales. And, that's like 5 years later.
Yep.
Networking and building a sales career 5 years later is how I got here.
Yep.
Yes, I'm building a business. I do plan on not working past 35. I think it's a very conservative goal, but right now I'm in the middle.
Right.
I'm working a job. Every night I'm going and building a business. Weekends I'm doing some business related activities, and I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, building a relationship that's leading to a marriage.
Yep.
I've gotten good at creating all these good habits, but it all started from changing some of those negative things, not letting them control me,
Mm-hmm.
taking my thoughts captive, controlling the words that I speak, and truly just changing as a person.
Yeah.
To become the person that is worthy of receiving the blessings that I ask God for every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now I'm here right in the middle.
Right.
It's taken me quite some time to get here. But when you look at kind of where I was, I'm just thankful I could be considered like even living a normal life.
Yeah.
I would even say above average, because I work super hard, and in sales, you get paid based on your merit. And wrapped up in all of that, last thing I'll say is it's all about what you do in people's lives. Even sales, it is, hey, my hard work is in talking to a lot of people to figure out who has the need I have the solution to that would be better off if they bought from me. And I truly work like that. And I believe when you work like that, everything stems from it.
Yeah.
Every area of life. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I need a deep breath. I'm sweating.
All right, get one breath. I'm about to ask you
something. I tried to give the 5-minute recap of 28 years of life. As you can imagine, there's so much more, like so many great stories and great stuff there.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And I really appreciate you diving deep with us in that. And I know just how much deeper it can go. But with everything you said, it lays the foundation, the groundwork for people to really grasp something from your story, because you've been through the ringer, you've been from rock bottom, you've been to the point now where you are at an incredible point in your life, and you can see that it's building further. And in your story, I really want people to grasp that there's numerous pathways to freedom that you mentioned throughout that, whether it's the mindset, whether it's taking the small steps, whether it's to taking a step back and realizing, maybe one, addictive behaviors, maybe two, I'm not the person I want to be, and I see that, and I'm going to take the steps to rearrange those personality traits, those behaviors, to become something better, to where you are now. And where you are now, just from hearing your story, is not where you were before. And I think so many people can take that and run with it, because everyone, I don't want to say everyone, majority of people in the world can look in the mirror and say, oh man, this isn't what I wanted. But and that could be where you were at years ago, to where now it's like, hey, I'm where I am. I may not be where I want to be, but I love who I am, and I'm getting to where I need to be. And that's something so great in what you talked about. So let's step into that pathways for freedom aspect. And I love how you mentioned it, where one thing you're doing is you're breaking mental chains by reading books. You're diving into relationship stuff, into faithful stuff with the Bible, into business stuff, into marketing, into networking, everything under the sun. You're trying to learn more, to activate yourself more and more. And if people can really take that, and before we hopped on, you mentioned that you'll set aside time where you turn off the TV, where you turn off the phone, for that matter, and you're just trying to learn. And the world we live in, people can't go 10 minutes without the technology being at their fingertips. And it's very sad, but it's so real. And if people can turn that off, that's breaking a mental chain in itself. And when you break one mental chain, you see the success that comes out of it, which you've seen, Colton. And if people can take that and run with it, it's incredible what could happen. And I'll say this before I throw it back to you, but one quote that I know you love, and I know people are going to love it as well, and they've probably heard before, is don't underestimate what you can do in 5 to 10 years. And so many people sit there and be like, oh my goodness, I want it now. I can't get it now. I'm going to stop, and everything you're doing is falling in line with that, where it's like, I know in 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be where I want to be. Like, you want to retire when you're 35. That is so attainable in the world today. And so many people don't realize that. So in throwing it back to you, Colton, what's some different pathways to freedom we can kind of give people right now that you've obviously used so many of them, but what's something people can run with right now?
Yeah, you hit on a bunch of topics there.
Exactly. If you throw it all at you.
I love it. And yeah, just so everybody knows, I'm 28. That's still 7 years away. All right. I gave myself a conservative goal, but give me a break. I've been working since I've been 24 towards that goal in a vehicle that can produce that. So when you look at 11 years of work, I love what you said there. That's one of my favorite things to keep talking about. We live in like a microwave, a microwave kind of mentality generation. I want a 10-second video. I want a tweet. I want, quick. I want this to be done in here. Shorten up the TV show to about 10 minutes on YouTube, cut out all the filler.
Yeah.
And that's not how life works. So think about 11 years. What can you do in 11 years?
Yeah.
I like to always, I hear people just wanting to work super hard today, burn themselves out tomorrow, stop, restart, stop, restart, stop. It's like pushing a car.
Right.
If you keep pushing a car and stopping it, it's a lot of energy and you're not getting very far.
Yep.
But if you take the time to roll it and to keep it rolling and just keep going every day, one more day, that's how I did everything at first. Was I just focused on winning that day.
Yep.
Just literally even the little things like just don't do drugs today.
Yeah.
Just work out today. Make the conscious choice, like one more step, one more day, and every day gets easier, because when we build new habits, that it locks them into our lives where it's still a choice. We could fall out of that.
Yep.
But it locks it into our lives where it's like, this is a part of who we are now.
Yep.
So we need to really, just the first thing that jumps out to me is First, where are you going?
Mhm.
Vision,
Yeah.
right? This is such an important, crucial point to just focus on in everybody's life. If you have one life to live,
Mhm.
what are you doing and working towards? Are you just going through the week? I mean, I think 2020 and 2021 have shown us that time is flying. Days turn into weeks, turn into months. All of a sudden, it's April 2021, and I cannot believe it.
Right.
The new norm is just the norm of my life. I just look, I go, yeah, where's my mask? I always have one.
Right.
And it's kind of crazy. So when we understand the power of creation
Mhm.
in our habits, we will focus on the little things. But first, you need to set some time aside,
Mhm.
truly define what is it that I want in life? What is my purpose here? What am I going for? What would bring me the most joy if I could live that right now?
Yeah.
What can I do? And number one, if it doesn't include other people, it's not big enough.
Mm.
What can I do that's going to make a serious impact? Like stir things up so that like my kids can walk into a world that's even better because I live.
Right. Yep.
Imagine that example they can see, because then we could think even deeper as legacy. Then how do I raise my kids? What can they do? And just grows bigger and bigger and bigger, because then we can kind of get God's macro vision on what's happening instead of our micro,
Yep.
man, I just want to get through the day. And I
Right.
don't blame people for that. I feel it too sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm this person with extraordinary vision that also sometimes wakes up and goes, I can't even get through this small little task in the day.
Uh,
So I am both, but I choose not to stay there.
yeah.
It's a choice. Mental chains are when you don't take your thoughts captive, when you have no self-awareness.
Mm.
You have to have self-awareness of what's going on. Take an inventory of your thoughts. A great thing somebody said one time was keep your phone recording for like an entire day and then listen back through it.
Yeah.
Listen to how negative that you are naturally, and then start speaking positive. A
Yeah.
lot of people just heard that and were like, record for a whole day and listen for 24 hours? Are you kidding me? Well, you're going to sleep for probably 8 of that, so 16. And if it's your entire lifetime, it'll affect. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, if your focus, if your vision is blurry, if you're unsure, turn off everything. Take a notepad out
Mhm.
and sit down and write
Yeah.
whatever comes to mind. Literally, don't set aside 30 minutes. Set aside like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm talking your entire night after you get off of work. Your entire Saturday morning, 4 hours. Instead of going out on Friday, stay up and write and just keep doing that. Do that for a month.
Yeah.
Do it every day for a month. It's your entire life. If you don't have a more concrete vision after a month, keep going.
Yeah.
You might get it in a day. You might already know your vision. It might be so implanted in you, but don't walk another day on life not looking for and understanding your vision and purpose.
Yeah.
Because then two things happen. Things start happening in life and it adds to your vision.
Yep.
Your vision becomes more of a reality. Doors open that you didn't know were even there.
Yeah.
Because you have more clarity. And you also, the other thing that starts happening is with your vision, it's so cool because you start living life on purpose.
Mhm.
And you live life on purpose when you choose to make choices that honor your values. Your values align with your vision. Then you could truly express you fully, be yourself 100%, knowing I stand for this. This is what I stand for.
Mhm.
I'm going to walk out my life as me fully,
Mhm.
pursuing this vision that I have and creating it out of nothing.
Yep.
Whatever that is for you. That could be being an attorney and going into politics and looking to change policy. That could be being a business owner, creating something that makes an impact in this world, growing $1 billion company.
Mhm.
That could be starting a daycare and just helping out all these people who are so busy and giving them an affordable daycare where you are a good person and can implant your character into these children when those people can't because they have to work. It could be so many different things. So a pathway to freedom, you want to be free every single day? to truly be yourself, to not let these negative thoughts come in and try to tell you these things about yourself that just aren't true.
Right.
Know yourself by knowing your values, by knowing your vision, by who God created you to be and what purpose he has for you on this world.
Yeah, that's huge.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
Ask yourself every day until you get a little bit closer to that answer.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. That's people want to talk about the Holy Spirit talking right there. I'm going to help everyone right there. Everything you just said.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Praise God. I'm just a man.
No, that's awesome. But no, everything you just said is so spot on, where people can truly just dedicate some time, and I think if they do get home from work and dedicate the next 4 hours before bed to their vision and just identifying what that is, just that one step. Not even if it's 4 hours, spend 20 minutes, just on trying to figure out what that vision is. That's the one small step that Colton is telling us right now that gets you a little bit closer. And if every single day you can do that, think about it. It's a compounding effect where over time, yes, you constantly are growing to where you need to be. And if people can just start to take what's in here on the paper, like there's so many clients that I come across that I love work with them, and we do very similar work, but they come to me with the question of, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know what my purpose is. So I'm like, all right, well, I know you have one. Let's sit down and figure it out. And it's the same steps, but you have to dedicate time to it. If there is something in life that you want, or you see something out there that you want, it is so attainable. And I don't know where the limitation is for so many people out there that, man, I could never have that. Or man, like that's not me. I can't get to that level. As Colton just said, all these negative thoughts are all lies. All this chitter chatter going on in your head, it's all lies. If you see something that can be yours and you want it to be yours, it's probably yours in the future if you step towards it. And if people can truly take the time and dedicate it, as Colton just said, oh my goodness, the door that opens up. But it's crazy, but it's true. And I really want people to grasp that's how you break mental chains. And I think how we can kind of weave this in right now is more and more people don't realize the mental chains that are on them, because it's become the norm. And to bring another topic that you brought up, Colton, is instead of going out on a Friday night, going out with your friends to the bar, the club, whatever the heck you're doing, you don't give into a distraction, because you're distracting yourself from your purpose, you're distracting yourself from your vision, you're distracting yourself from a life you could have. And this is what we're all trying to get across to people right now is you have a purpose, you have a place to go in life, you have a belief, and somewhere along the line, a wall got put up. And how do you take the wall down is you constantly do these little tiny steps, and it's you're chipping away. I can remember pursuing my goals and my dreams to get to be a life coach, motivational speaker, and truly help people get where they want to be. My dad would constantly send me this picture when it just wasn't necessarily happening for me. And he'd send me this picture, and I'm sure everyone has seen it across Facebook or social media, where you got these two guys and they're cracking away, they're digging underground, and one is digging and digging and digging, and he chooses to stop. And if he dug one more, just with that pickaxe, the diamonds are right there. And the other guy just keeps at it and he gets the diamonds. And think about that as your life. And have you truly taken the pickaxe and you're starting to crack at it? And if you haven't picked up the pickaxe yet, go pick it up and do something small. Dedicate time to read a book. Dedicate time to grab the notebook, as Colton just said, and write it down. Because if you can take it out of here and put it on paper, it becomes tangible. As we've mentioned in numerous videos, you make it tangible. Guess what? Tangible means it's real. It's part of your reality right now. And it's just a few steps away at that point. But, rather than rambling on with that, Colton, I agree so much with it, with what you focus on, your vision, and it creates the direction of your life. And if we get truly clear on our focus and our vision, we realize what direction we're moving in. And to build on that, where can we take that? If you could give someone, as much as we just went over so many steps, what's step one they would tell people to do? Because, you mentioned different books to read. You mentioned grabbing the notebook. You mentioned getting clear on the vision. I want to kind of bring it back where, as both you and I are faith-based people, I want to bring it back to that to explain to people it's already there. It's just that we have to learn to take these steps. So what can you build on that to kind of add a final lasting message to this video right now and helping people achieve their purpose and see that it is truly attainable? What can we build on right now with that?
That was the perfect thing, because as you were speaking, I'm like, now's the time. Faith in Wi-Fi, it's here.
There you go.
I told you it was gonna come up.
Perfect.
That's awesome. I mean, first, just to kind of mention on this, a lot of the radical change that happened in my life happened after I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. It was so funny. I sent a prayer out to God. I didn't even know God at the time. Later, months later, I make one connection. All of a sudden, my whole life changes. Through that connection, become friends, wind up finding Christ. Then this whole life of it feels like whole life of 5 years of just pursuing and learning wisdom and going on this path, being free, learning to take my thoughts captive, learning that we have the authority to do so, learning that there is a spiritual war that's happening and we have the ability to just stop. We don't have to play into the negative. We just truly know who we are because God tells us in the great book exactly who we are.
Right.
And I love it. So faith is super crucial in my life. It's everything. I feel like I can do nothing without my faith. I can't even get out of bed. It's literally at that point. And every day that I'm alive, I'm getting closer and closer to God. And it is so obvious to me that I cannot operate without it. So I like this term, faith in Wi-Fi. So this is brand new, but if you were all over and trying to, we were all over at Billy G's house trying to connect to his Wi-Fi. I always said, hey, Billy G, what's your Wi-Fi password? And you might not want to share because it might be all your passwords. We have all the same password now, but you do because you're a good person. You're like, they'll never know. Now we're trying to get onto the Wi-Fi, but we can't. I've tried 6 times. You've tried 7. We're really trying. But we know the Wi-Fi is there. Yeah. The router says it's working. We know it's there. Eventually, I get connected. Now, you can see that I'm connected. But you're not connected yet. Yeah. But you know it's there. So you keep trying again and again. Then you get connected. Yeah. The whole time, we knew the Wi-Fi was there, but we couldn't see it. We just had to have faith. Yep. So as we're taking that one more strike with the pickaxe, as we're digging for that diamond and really going deep, to not give up, there's a few things that needs to happen. We need to not be our own worst critic. We need to understand that we're good enough. We need to look at ourselves and be like, you know what? I only read a page today. I listened to 10 minutes of a podcast. I networked for a half hour. I did everything I was supposed to do today. I did not do it great. I sucked. I didn't do anything right. I barely did it. But you know what? I did it and I'm proud of myself. Yeah. Then the next day, I've done it again. Then in 3 years, I've done it 900 times. Right. Yeah. And you look at yourself and you go, yes, I did. And now I'm this person. Just like when you're sick, you not sick, COVID sick, right? You're feeling a little down. You still go get that workout. If you have COVID, don't go to the gym. Please, I'm there. And we all have families that come too. But you get that workout in. Why? It's the consistency. Yeah. So the first step, what is the first step? Even if you don't know your vision and you don't know your purpose, your first step is take action right now. Yeah. You'll figure out along the way. Yeah. You can make adjustments. You don't have to. I suffer from this. Trying to over plan so that if I start something today, I could do it every single day for the rest of my life. In that same time frame, in that same time slot, exactly how I did it. Ensure success, move life around so this is always free. Gotcha. Life doesn't work like that. Life is crazy sometimes. Yeah. So if you only have 10 minutes right now, just read now. Yep. If you only have 20 minutes, Just sit there and think about your vision.
Right.
If you're struggling with imagination and creativity, remember, like, we were kids and we had this.
Yep.
If it already existed in you, guess what? It doesn't leave. It's not gone.
Exactly.
The world can't beat out of you something that God put in you. You just have to open it up again. You need to water that seed again. How do you do that? I mean, something I did at work that was pretty cool was we all got these Legos with no instructions. They said, hey, make a duck.
Yeah.
Do you know 50 people in the room made like 50 different ducks? What could you create if you just sat there and got a plain set of Legos, all different colors?
Yeah.
And just set aside some time so that you could work out your creativity just like you work out your biceps.
Yeah. Right.
And could that lead to creative thought in other areas?
Right.
Make a vision board and make it easy to do.
Yeah.
Print out a picture, like save pictures on your phone, go to like Walmart or something and print them out. Like put these physical things in front of you all over the place. Start building on it.
Yeah.
It's just taking action, because when we do something, here's success. Success in a nutshell is just this. You have to figure out what success means to you. That's the most important, because if you're going to work hard at something, if you're going to do these next steps I'm about to tell you, you better know that where you're going is somewhere that you want to be. Daily doing what it takes to accomplish the goal. So you work hard every single day. You're consistent over a period of time. To master anything, honestly, set aside 5 years. I love talking in big numbers. I want to shock people. I don't want to tell you that you're going to get great at something in a month. Right. And then you look at me and go, well, that sounded really great. I loved it, but like, it didn't work. I want you to know, like, this hard work. I never wanted to go into sales as a career. I started and I sucked really a lot, went through a lot of jobs. Now I'm at this point 5 years in where I'm actually really good and I've built a skill set and I'm actually making the money I need to build a family and save for a house and all this stuff, get out of debt. 5 years. Every single year, I had this hope and belief. This can happen to me. I can do this. I could make what I need here. I believe I can do this. I could build this skill set. You need to believe in yourself and have hope. Because if you just know where you're going, take action every single day, even if it's small, look at yourself and go, you know what? I know what this adds up to. Keep going. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. And you'll be successful at whatever you set aside.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's hard work. Yeah. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Exactly. We've worked hard. Most of you listening have worked hard for something in your life, whether it's a sport, whether it was your college education, whether it's your career, whether it's raising kids. You've worked hard at something consistently and done things that have unbalanced your life for a period of time, but it gave you something else on the other end that was worth it.
Yeah.
The myth is that we need to have a balanced life at all times. Sometimes we need to have a balance in an unbalanced situation. Me? This is hard work. I've been 5 years trying to work a job and build a business. It's not easy. And then throw in building a relationship. There's a lot of work there too, and there's a lot of good things that need to happen.
Yeah.
How do you do this? Well, I know that this takes this chunk of time. Then I have sleep. Then I have this time and this time and this time. All that matters is that literally, even if I just want to be consistent at the gym and all of this, that I just show up.
Yeah.
My workouts are 30 minutes now. I used to work out for 2 hours a day. It's a little bit less than what I want, but there's consistency.
Yeah.
Then I look at the week, hang out with girlfriend, pray with girlfriend, read with girlfriend. Then I look at work, show up every day. Don't be late.
Right.
Do my work, do work when I'm there.
Yeah.
Business, network every day. Growth, read and listen every day. And I look and I go, it doesn't matter how much each of these have. Are they happening consistently? Because then something's building. Fast forward a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. What could possibly happen?
Yeah. Right.
So, you just got to take those little actions.
Yeah.
But to know which ones are fruitful, you have to know where you're going. Exactly. And one of the best things to do is find a guide. One of the best things that helped me was I found people who were successful that could teach me what they knew, that could recommend books I needed, that could direct me to, if I'm going to listen to an audiobook and spend 20 hours doing it, hopefully it's something fruitful.
Right.
At least I could have some guidance to know like this is going to help me.
Yeah.
So you really need some guidance and to seek out people. So just network, get to know people, doors will open up,
Yep.
be able to say no, be able to say yes, but be able to make decisions based on your values and what you want in your life.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I love
Hope
that.
that answers some of the questions.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I kind of just took it and spun it.
I love it. I love it. You took that and ran it to someplace incredible. And I want people to grasp step one is just get clear on where you want to go or what it is you want or what you want your life to be. Define that. If I can emphasize any point that Colton just went over, define it. And that is going to be your step one for taking action. And then take the action. And it doesn't, like Colton said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're spending all this time one day. I don't care if your action step to being healthy is just getting out of bed. Get out of bed. See where the rest of the day goes. So I'm not telling you to dedicate your entire day to it. Take one step. If you can, we're filming this on a Sunday night right now. If you can start your Monday and literally do one thing on a Monday to get to where you need to be, it's incredible. And I want to leave people with this example right here, because when you were talking, Colton, it came to me. Everyone watching this, all these viewers right now, open your mind up to think of this. If someone came up to you on the side of the street and somehow they knew what your dream job was or your dream life was, or whatever it was, and they said to you, I will give you all of that if you can read 5 minutes of this book for the next month, every single day. All I'm telling you to do is 5 minutes a day in this book. Would you do it? And, my guess is that, oh yeah, 100%. Oh my goodness, the life I want, 5 minutes in this book every single day. Yeah, definitely. That's literally what could happen for you by taking action and doing what you need to do, like Colton just described to us, where maybe it is reading the book, maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's being there for your girlfriend, your family, what are your kids, whatever it is that's specific for you. Just dedicate the time. Dedicate the time little by little, and the compound effect kicks in to where, 5 years down the line, as Colton described, or 10 years down the line, or whatever, it could be a month for you for that matter, depending on how much action you put in, but you're going to get somewhere. And that's all it takes, is get clear on it, define it as Colton described, and just take these steps and just see where life goes. And to bring it back to faith and an aspect that Colton and I started on, what if every single one of us had an incredible life in store for us? It's because every single person is so different. Every single person has their own personality, their own spirit, their own mindset, their own mental ability for that matter, their own heart. What if you were meant to achieve so much in life, but because you didn't actually take the steps to do it, it went to someone else? And all this stuff, your purpose, the purpose that you were brought here for, went to someone else. The gifts and the dreams and everything that was put on you, because you didn't take the step for it, it went to the next person. What would that mean for you? And that to me, I think every time you take a step forward to something, God's like, all right, mark it off the list. Open the next door. Open the next door. Yep, he's killing it. She's killing it. The momentum is building. Open the bigger door. Open the floodgates. Open the windows of heaven, as it describes in the Bible, and watch a blessing poured upon you. But, take everything that we just said, as to wrap this up. I know this is a longer message. Take this and run with it. Get clear on it. Grab the notebook, as Colton described. Define it. Write out your steps that you can take. All right, this is my goal. This is my dream. Tomorrow, I'm doing this. One step. That's all I ask. But that's it. That's all it's going to take for you to get to where you need to be. Take everything else Colton said with the networking aspect and just listen to this over and over, because there's so many gems in this one message, but there's so much. There's so much that Colton described to us that you can run with. But Colton, I thank you so much for being here. Is there one lasting message that you want to leave with people? We just went over so much. Is there any one specific important message that you want to leave people with before we close this out?
Very, very quick little things. Number one, your vision is going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on right now what's motivating you. If debt is pressuring you, get yourself on a budget, celebrate paying off $30 this month, $40 extra this month. Celebrate the small wins. I paid off one credit card. Hallelujah.
Mm.
Focus on what motivates you. Your vision will grow as you grow. If you could just think about getting out of debt right now, focus on that, celebrate it, have fun doing it, make it this big thing, and I don't know, reward yourself. Number two, find the red lights and green lights in life. So often God is telling us to stop for a moment because it's a red light and it's dangerous and it's somebody else's green light.
Mm.
Be aware of the red lights. And when it goes to green, go forward. You're going to have many green lights and many red lights along the road. It's going to look like this. Just understand that God's timing is absolutely perfect. And he is preparing you to be the person that has the character to handle the blessings that you are asking him every single day for. So keep asking, have faith, believe it's possible, and have just enormous hope. And the last thing I want to say, you said this, something that made me think about it. Diversity is so beautiful. Every one of us are different. Your vision and your path to freedom is going to be so much different than mine. It's going to be so much different than Billy's. We might look different. We could be old, young. We could be black, white. We could be Christian, Jewish, Muslim. We could be straight, gay. We could be all of these kind of like beautiful, different ways that God created us.
Right.
I don't know what that is for you or where you are right now. I just know that the world is talking about this a lot. You can be a man, woman. There's so much being spoke about right now. Just be you.
Yeah.
Just be you fully, because here's what happens. If you look at a piece of modern art, right? It's just one color on one canvas. As you zoom out, it's just one color. It's just plain. There's nothing there. It's just everything is the same. You might like that art, but I would much rather prefer like a masterpiece like a Picasso or, even something more detailed, like when you go into like the Met Museum in New York City and you have this beautiful detailed battlefield of this thing that happened that captures a moment in history. We've all seen these pictures in these masterpieces where you have all these photos of people. And as you zoom out, it becomes a different photo, a different picture that's put together. We are all those little different characters on there. Every one of us is different with a purpose and a different group of people to influence and make an impact in. As you zoom out, you could see all the different colors, how it plays together, and the beautiful creation that God created and the masterpiece that he sees every time he looks down on us. Everybody's diversity is beautiful. So fully embrace you and be you.
That's awesome. That is huge. I can't end on a better note than that. That's phenomenal. But I
praise God.
There you go, right? Exactly. No, that's phenomenal right there. Guys, take that and run with it. That's huge. Be you and just see where the road goes. See where God takes you. Take a step for yourself and just see what door opens. But Colton, I thank you so much for being here. No, I think this message has so much power behind it. I think you brought so much to the table that people can build on. So I really appreciate that. Like, thank you so much. But
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
I live for conversations like this.
Right? No, it will not be the last time you're on this. I can guarantee it.
That's good.
There you go. But guys, I reach out to Colton for that matter and have one of these conversations. I'm sure he'd be willing to see where the spirit takes it for that matter. But guys, as always, I thank you so much for tuning in. Like this message on YouTube. Share it to someone, right? Exactly. Share it to someone. If someone popped in your head when Colton was going over these pieces, like, oh my goodness, this person needs to hear this right now. It's a clear-cut sign that person needs this video. Share it to them personally, okay? And then lastly, hit the subscribe button below. Let's get that number up there. It's been growing week by week, and we want to spread this to more and more people. We want people to get the help. We want people to kind of get those scales off their eyes just from one positive message and get them to where they need to be. hit the subscribe button, and let's get it and share it more and more. And lastly, if you or anyone you know is in need of a life coach or someone to step in and help you with these exact pieces that we talked about today, go to BillyGLifeCoaching.com. You can set up a free consultation with me, and I'll be right there for you to take these next steps for yourself. But Colton, thank you so much, brother, and I cannot wait for the next one.
See you later.
Awesome.
Live long and prosper.
There you
Found
go.
out I was a nerd last week. I'm fully embracing it. Force hammer, 3D printed.
Phenomenal. Love it. Have a good one, guys.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it.